Fantastic. Now we are live. Exciting stuff. All right. Let's see here. Let me get my screen shared window. Boom. All right. So today is the 15th, but usually by the time I'm done with these, it's after midnight. So we're really setting up for sprints for the 16th. We don't know how long it'll be. One of these days, I'm not going to be so tired and I'll be able to run 3 sprints instead of 2. But we will be at least 13 and 14 tonight. And I don't know how many words we're going to get. But I do know that our total for the first draft after yesterday's sprint was 5,916 words. So we're going to see how many we can go beyond that. Let's see, it's entry 24. We're doing pretty good. One of the things I might get around to is I still need to get the introduction written. So I was struggling with how to get the story started, and I just dove straight into the journal entries as just a means to get some momentum. And now that part of the story is developing just fine. It's going the way it should be. But the introduction or the beginning of the story itself is somebody actually finding the journal that we're creating the entries for right now. And the way the sprints work is I have an old phone here. I set a timer for 25 minutes, and then while the timer is counting down, I put my focus on getting as many words into the work in progress as possible. So if you've never done a writing sprint before, it's just a period of time, half hour, 15 minutes, whatever the number is, where you are laser focused into just getting as many words recorded for your story as possible. And really, it's just a means to help you build momentum as a writer. You need to get past that writer's block. And, sometimes what you produce is ugly, but it's what it takes to get you out of the slump you're in. So if you're having trouble progressing your story, you do a couple of sprints, you're going to be in a different place than where you were before. And sometimes it's, you don't like what you got and you end up throwing it away. Sometimes it's something you edit later, and sometimes it's just what you needed to power through to keep making progress on the story itself. Just is what it is. What these sprints usually turn into is I do at least 2 of them. I'm actually getting started much earlier than I usually do. But we set 25 minutes on the clock. We sprint. When we're done, I cut from Notepad into Google Drive, and I get my word count from there. So after the first sprint, get our word count, check in with each other, see how we're doing, and put another 25 minutes on the clock and sprint again. If we're doing really good tonight, we might even do a 3rd sprint. Depends on how we're feeling. For anybody that's new here, where we're at is I am writing an epistolary tale told through the entries contained within a found diary. And the setting for this is kind of a maybe a low medieval setting. It's a fictional setting, and the time period is somewhere late medieval, early modern. But I think it's time to put. I think I'm ready to put the time on the clock, and we can start our sprint. Now, one of the things that I always end up doing is having a hard time finding a good angle to put the phone in so that it's not just directly reflecting. Nice. There we go. And there we go. Well, try that. And boom. There we go. So now, timer's set, clock's running down. Get as many words into your work in progress as you can. We'll check back in after the alarm goes off and see how many words we got. And, because I'm a complete caffeine addict, right now is usually Mountain Dew time, too. If I go... Yeah, there we go. Downstream, stream, yeah. things. It looks wrong. Okay, red squiggles to retrieve. I don't love it, but I'll take it. At least I can work with it. Because the whole point is that the journal survived. It was found. It wasn't damaged. It wasn't so damaged that you couldn't read it. So I will take that. Paste it into my Google Docs file. My tools, go to word count, got it. All right, that is 174. So I will now come back to the top. 174 up here, and when we come back, I will just add 174 to wherever we are. Let me see if I want to flesh out this entry or move on to the next one. Took the right path at the fork because it was the fuller brook and had a steeper. Goldfeld. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be clean to just get a different one. I don't know how many entries we're going to get. As I expect, he should have, I don't know, around a month, maybe even a little bit more of his expedition before we start working towards our conclusion. So maybe we're only halfway through, maybe less. I don't know. I don't have a set number, and I'm not like these are just numerical entries. I haven't figured out a date theme to use here. So this is just the 25th entry that I've made. I'll figure out how to do like days or whatever when I do the first pass for revisions.
It's so dark that I can't see where my bed is. Well, you could use the light from your iPad. Remember that?
come down here. This way, more of it's visible. I got 1 minute. Oh no. No. It's not gonna be a lot of words. All right. So that was 25 minutes. That's the end of this sprint. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to cut the words that I just wrote into a Google Drive document and get my word count there. And we'll see how much progress we made on this one. I'm anticipating it may not be a huge number compared to what we've been doing the last few days. Oh, yeah, another hang up. The way this is written, I have to individually cut the entries. So these are going, higher number is at the top of the page, lower numbers at the bottom of the page. Well, when I paste the rough draft into Google Docs, the lower number entries are at the top and the higher number entries are towards the bottom. Entry 25, entry 26. Yeah, we'll even just be there. Two, 7, 9. 2, 7, 9. All right, so can't start yawning. All right, so that's going to be 3, 5, 4, 5, 3. Let me double check on my calculator. So what do we have? 174 plus 279 equals 453. All right, so what that means. Too early in the night for that. There we go. All right, 453 words. So I come back up here and 4, 5, 3. Yeah, not all of them are crazy. In fact, that is almost my least productive sprint so far, but I still feel pretty good about it because what I got accomplished was those few paragraphs in the beginning to introduce the diary itself before we get into the entry structure. So even though the word count is low, the things accomplished I'm happy with. Put that in chat just in case anybody pops in partway through. The first 25-minute sprint is completed. Period. Managed 453 words in that time. How many did you get during that one? Question mark. There we go. All right. Here my eyes. I do not understand why all of a sudden I start streaming and now it's making me start yawning. But I'm going to put another 25 minutes on the clock. I'm going to hit start. We're going to dive into the sprint, see how far we get. So that'll be sprint number 14. And I don't know what the final word count will be, but we're making progress. So that's the point of doing that. And it's all live. So people who want to follow along or people who want to participate in the sprint as a motivational tool so that they can get out of like a writer's block. And they can do that too. So, sometimes writing can be lonely. Hit my leg on my computer. But we can delete these now. We don't need them anymore. There's entry 26. Oh my goodness, stop. All right. I think I am at a point where I need to introduce a couple more things. Yeah, I'm not ready to approach the climax yet, but there were some more hang-ups I was going to throw at this guy. I think it's time to introduce a couple more of them so we can keep the story moving forward. Man. Is there caffeine in this? Sorry, I probably shouldn't be drinking caffeine this close to bed anyway, but that is what it is. Okay. All right. Can I push that button? I can, and now... No, that's too much. That's too much. What if... Maybe? I can read it. 24:35. So, might as well come up here, and I will go back up this way so the writing is more visible. Entry 27. I don't even remember what I was going to say. Okay. There we go. All right. I wish I had more time because I'm actually excited to communicate what I was getting to in this particular entry. Entry 31, I was excited for. I think it's going to be great. But now, at the end of the sprints, so now at the end of the sprints, I'm going to cut this into a Google Doc. That's how I'm going to get my word count. Where did we leave off? 26. Okay, yeah, 26 was fine. So I need 27, copy. 28. And 29. Then just that little bit of 30. So 30 won't be finished. And Google Docs is telling me I have red squiggles, which means I've spelled more things wrong. Serviceable. Serviceable. Service able. Service able. We're in quite a conundrum right now. See, I'm going to, there we go. Copy that. I'm going to take a snippet. That, and then a snippet from Google. If I slide this over, see, Google Docs says serviceable is spelled wrong. Also thinks I should punctuate the word yesterday's differently. But I'm going to copy that. Now I'm going to have to go look up how to spell serviceable. How to spell service able. Well, okay, no red squiggle there, but according to Google, service able needs an E, serviceable. I also need this, go back, and oh, this is it really all the way back to 27? That was a fat chunk. 696 words. 696. Should be like, yeah, it'd be a little bit more. It's not midnight though. I got started too early. So we're not even on to the 16th yet. So if we end here, we're going to have 2 entries for the 15th. You know what? I'm feeling okay. Let me see. Hold on. There used to be a take a break button. I want to create a highlight video. I don't want to add a stream marker. I don't want to share. I don't want to end the stream. I'll click there. No, I don't want to do that either. Let's just see what we got here. The second sprint. Much better this time. There we go. Edit that. Now, I'm telling you, there used to be like a button up top here that would be like, oh, take a break. Huh. Okay. Any of these features, pop-out dashboard, channel settings. Alright. I think I take just take a break for just a moment. Then I'm going to come back and we're going to push for one more sprint. It'll be just about midnight. I can do another one. Let me write a note. Anybody who happens to pop in and join us, I don't want them to think it's a dead stream. Be right back. Third sprint at 12. Yeah. You'd hang that there. Or not. Or all of these things will just be in the way. Don't mind me. This is, there we go. This is just the most ghetto way to go to the bathroom real quick I could come up with. Oh, be right back. Third sprint, 12. Okay. And I'm gonna mute. All right. Yeah, we can do a third sprint. Now it's officially the 16th, so I don't feel bad about that. We finally there we go. One more. Okay. Okay. Oh, let's get my timer ready. So we want to boom 25 minutes. Let me get my stand set up better. Okay, here. All right, that works. Do I want this side of it? Is that the side I want? No. It's not the right kind. Now I'm tangled. Oh, that's because it's got a magnet on it. Trying to magnet my charging cables. We don't want that. That's the wrong button. We want 25 minutes. Start. There we go. Actually, look at that. Oh, oops. Yeah, that was cute. There we go. At the foot of the phone stand, hit my keys. All right. Done. Okay. I felt pretty good about that sprint too. I think we're going to have another decent word count. So over 26, 27, 28, 30. 30. I was able to eventually catch 3 of them. Oh, well, let's spell turn up. There we go. Was able to catch 3 of them. Pow. Copy. Able to catch 3 of them. All right, highlight that so I know where to start from. And apparently I am real bad at spelling. I'm going to put an E on everything. I don't know why. But 31. Copy. Yeah, so I thought it would be interesting. Yeah, there we go. Thought it would be interesting if he got sick because, he didn't really prepare. He doesn't have any medicine with him. He's out here in, just wild river water here. He's eating, like, not amazing things. Like, his diet sucks. He's exhausted. He's not sleeping great. Figured at some point his immune system was going to give out on him. There we go. But now that he found his porcupine, he thinks he's back in the game. And I'm not 100% stuck on it's a porcupine. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's something. Oh, there we go. Collection of quills. All right. Let's highlight and see where we're at. That is curious. Let's go the other way. Let's double check. It is. Okay. That is wild. That's twice in a row that I have gotten 696 words. Now I got to go back and just double check. Boom. Yeah. 696 twice. That is wild. I would not have guessed those numbers. But now I got to do math, and we're doing 3 sprints. I think I'm just going to cheat and go right to the calculator. But that's pretty exciting. So yeah, we'll be all right. So 453 plus 696 plus 696 is going to bring us to 1,845. So the big question is now 1,845 plus 5,916 equals. This is going to bring us to a final word count of 7,761. Which I think is pretty exciting. So this is right where I would make the distinction that we have gone from short story into the beginnings of what I would call novelette territory. So this likely, I can see this hitting 10, 12,000 words. Which, still a solid novelette, thumbs up. I like those. Three Blade Will came out to about 12,000-ish for its finished length. So this could be around that size when we're done. But I am terrible at guessing what it'll turn into by the time it's finished. So I always let the stories tell me what size they're going to be in the end. But just psychologically, I like breaking 10,000. So 10,000 is good. If I can hit 12,000, that'll be cool too. But, after 10, then I don't have to feel weird about calling it a novelette. I think 75 is the cutoff on my website, but 10 just feels more substantial. So if we can get that far, I'll be happy. We're only 23 away, and we are, I don't know, we're over halfway. It's gonna start snowballing as things pick up. Yeah, it'll start snowballing, but 12 would be nice. It's gonna put it in a weird spot though, because I don't see a lot of magazines and journals that love 12,000 word pieces. A lot of them would prefer under 5 or under 6. So it's in a weird spot. It's not big enough to try to push by itself as a standalone piece. So it's really the perfect size to just go straight to the website as a Retinue release, and that's fine. The whole point of building the library is to have stuff that people can read. So to have something that when it's finished, it can go straight to readers on the Retinue of House Walker website, that's fine. That just builds the library that I'm trying to build bigger anyway. If it went to a magazine, those will still eventually find their way on the website, but usually there's exclusivity clauses. So it tends to be, I can't publish anything on my own website if I'm going to send it off to a magazine, because they want first publishing or first serial rights or whatever. Then if it is so send it off to a journal, magazine, contest, whatever. That could be 3 to 6 months to find out if it gets accepted or kicked off or kicked back. If it gets rejected, then I can send it off to another one, or I can put it on the website. But it creates a situation where I can write faster than I can publish on my own website. So even when this is finished, if this is going to go to magazines or journals, it's going to sit for months where I wait for the inevitable rejection because um, seeing as I have works published on the website, and this is probably going to be a straight to website thing, I get rejected more than I get accepted. In fact, I only have two pieces right now that are sitting in that kind of churning slush pile to see if they'll be accepted or kicked back. Um, I wrote a lot more around a decade ago, so anything that I would have had published, I've done some digging, and it turns out that like all of the traction I had before when I wrote, most everything there doesn't exist anymore. So like even the crappy self-published like creepypasta websites, those have gone through name changes and have been bought and sold. I was only able to find one of my old stories that still exists. So another reason why I think having my own website is cool for me is I can put my stories on there and then I am in control of what happens to it. So I don't find out that like, oh yeah, that super cool place it used to be, or that really awesome article that said nice things about you. Well, it doesn't exist anymore, so those cool things also don't exist anymore. Um, on my own website, I know how long it's going to be there because I'm paying for it to be there. But we're going to wrap this up. I'll call it, by the time I'm done yapping, might as well be 2 hours. And a nice even number lets me go 9:09. Ta-da! So for the 16th, we got in an extra sprint altogether, which I think is pretty cool. Did not have quite as much momentum as we had yesterday, but that's still that 1200-ish mark. Would have been fine. Yeah, we would have hit 6-4. Yeah, almost 1150. So that extra 696, which I still think is interesting that two sprints managed to get the same word count. I don't know. I find that cool anyway. But I'm not going to drag it out for an extra couple of minutes just to have great math. I will just take 2 minutes off of this, and then I had a good time tonight. I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, making good progress. I hope everybody out there who's sprinting along with me is also making good progress on their own works. And, everybody can have a great Saturday night, Sunday morning, whichever it is for you guys. I'll call it a good night.